you can be the cheapest guy when you start out. It might get you for a year or two. That's great. You might knock out 100 roofs. Great. But when it comes time to raise your prices and raise your values, if you are known as that cheap contractor, you're not coming up. You're going to lose clientele. What's going on, man? How's it hanging?
It's hanging low and no, wait. It's hanging good, bro. I appreciate you. Low and curly. No, talk to me about we're talking about PE and in this case not joining up, in this case competing with PE. So Dakota has had in his market a bunch of PE come in. Tell us how that's felt over the last couple of years. Talk to me about what has been maybe the pains or the joys of competing with PE now.
Yeah, it's a new challenge for sure. I started my business pre-COVID, and obviously, when I started my business pre-COVID, I thought that when COVID came around, that we was going to get taken out just as soon as I started. But COVID grew my business, and from there, it was basically competing with the guys that have been around for 25, 30 years. I never really heard PE, and here in probably the last 6 months. PE has purchased a few companies and even expanded some of their other companies into our markets, and given us a new challenge to go up against, because at the end of the day, you hear the talks of PE coming in sky high, taking over markets, buying companies up. But in my market, it's quite different. They're dropping what I call their pants for everybody. And they're dropping them low. So it took us a while to build our market up to where we've gotten it, because there really wasn't a quality roofer in our market offering certified installs and higher end products until we stepped foot in it. So we worked so hard to get to where we're at now, and now it's like we've done a full 180 in the opposite direction. Now it's who can drop their pants the lowest, and how cheap can you get, because we're seeing our per square price drop tremendously.
What was the average per square a couple of years ago when you felt like you'd created the value market?
So every time I talk about our per square price, it seems as like every roofer's like, why are you in business? How do you make a living? When I first came into business in 2019, the average price per square in my market was $285 per square. That was the average cost per square. It's so low. I mean, just miserable profit margins. Within a year of us in business, we've gotten the market up to 350, and that was about 2020. And from there, the other companies that have been around for 20, 30 years were starting to raise their prices. So it's like we're in the right direction. Before PE came in, I would say we started this year out on the low end at 450 a square, and on the high end upwards of 650, 700. So it was a solid movement beginning of this year. But here we are now. We're trying to go back down and compete with 350 a square. It's challenging.
Join us January 5th through the 7th at Oklahoma City Convention Center for RoofCon 2026. It's going to be amazing. I hear there's somebody special that's going to be keynoting there. I'm going to be speaking. It's going to be really, really fun. And the best part is not even the speakers at events like this. Bringing the roofing industry together, talking about all the most cutting edge technologies and new methods, the best people in the industry sharing great information, as well as having community. That's what it's all about, having community and creating relationships. So join us. That's January 5th through the 7th at Oklahoma City Convention Center. Let's just isolate this for a second, and then we'll get back into the PE stuff. But any economic factors in the area or macro trends and economy type stuff that you guys thought might be affecting this as well, besides PE? Or
Yeah, I mean, the economy always has a lot to do with, I think, in our market, especially with how successful somebody is going to have in that particular year. And with that stated, I think the economy has driven a lot of the business these last couple of years for sure. And there's always been ups and downs regardless of how you look at it. But I think when it comes down to the bottom line now is, everybody wants the best price they can get. And in my market, especially, my market's full of homes that have had roofs put on for a couple of years now, and they're showing issues, major issues. Like last year, we did more business replacing young roofs than we did older roofs. It just kind of sets the precedent for what's to expect.
Interesting. Last question before we get back to competing with PE, but are you guys leading with financing for retail?
Oh, yes. So we 100% changed our proposals actually last year. And we started leading with finance and everything in our market. We lead even with insurance jobs. We lead with finance, and we want to finance those insurance jobs because we can finance the upgrades at that point. Financing is huge, and this year and last year, I think we have financed more business than ever.
Okay, great. So you're doing modern stuff. You're helping more people. Talk to me about the pain a little bit more about them coming in. Obviously, price feels like they're under. I would think their strategy is like drop prices quite a bit, get into the market, infiltrate it, get the brand presence or something, and then increase like a little bit of like a rip out the other companies. Because if you drop that is a thing people do. Like if you have enough money, you can just drop and tell people like basically like no, don't want to do this anymore, and then you can raise prices once you choked out all the family businesses.
Yeah, I mean that tends to kind of see what that might be the strategy.
I don't know. I'm
You know,
not. Hey, P. I'm sorry if you're just a real sweetheart back there.
it's Hook. Hook's your new PE firm. They're buying all the
Yeah.
roofers up.
Yeah. Hey.
No, it's but on a serious note, like I think that is probably the strategy. Our market, honestly, is only comprised of probably five actual great roofers, including myself. And we go in the door every day together. We win some, we lose some, right? But the other side to my market is we're full of Chuck in the trucks. Like, I mean, they're a dime a dozen. Everybody is creating pop up roofing companies every day. However, here recently, like I said, we've had some bigger guys move in the area, and they may see that with our market. They're like, "Hey, these guys ain't but so big. Maybe we can drop our pants for a couple years and see who takes the exit." It's possible. And you're right. If you've got the money to lose for a couple of years, it might be worth it if you have a 10-year game plan because they're just going to come in at year three and double their prices. If there's only a few of them, to monopolize the market, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, kind of a good market if that's how you feel. If there's really only five good roofers, like what's like the population kind of area looking like for you specifically, just to give some people a sense of the scale and that type of thing.
So Roanoke is a unique place. It's a city and a county. Then when you look it up, Roanoke, Virginia is Roanoke City, and you got Roanoke County. And combined, your population is well over. I mean, I know Roanoke City alone is over 100,000. Just Roanoke
Okay,
City.
perfect. I love that. That's a beautiful thing. I love that size of a market. That's like a perfect like this like it's juicy enough for the squeeze, but not so it's not so big that like generally people have been a little safer in cities like that from private equity coming in and busting down the door because it's like, well, it's only 100,000 people, so why would we go out there?
Right. Yeah, 100%. And to us, if there's only five solid companies in a 100,000 population market, I mean, that's a lot of pie for everybody. There's plenty of pie for everybody. And we all get along. That's the great thing is like, we all have our different tactics. We all sell our different products, but at the end of the day, we all get along. We can work together. However, it goes back to, yeah, you're wondering why are they coming over here? Why not go to the bigger cities, right? But I'm wondering if they're looking at it from a perspective of, hey, smaller market, cheaper buy-in. Maybe we can do something at a long term. I don't know.
Yeah.
But PE is an interesting model. I've actually had a few of them reach out to me trying to purchase and buy my company, and it's been a no every time. Just the way that they want things handled is just not up my alley. I want to run my business the way that I want to run my business. I don't want to be told how to run my business. It's my name and reputation at the end of the day.
Yeah, thinking about how to compete with these types of companies, like what have you found works so far? Like how can a small business, a medium-sized business compete with a giant in a local market? What are some things you've learned that work?
Yeah, so, talking is our connection good?
It's good. It might get a little fuzzy, but
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
the recording will be good. Don't worry.
Yeah, yeah, all's good. So, long story short, you talk about competing with those guys. That model that they use, they have a bunch of sales reps, a bunch of canvassers, and they're dropping their pants really low. So their goal is to present a low price, spend as little time in the door as they can and move on to the next person. There's really, there's no urge. If they don't sign day one, they're not worried about them. So we've kind of critiqued our processes a little bit to where we're focused on the value side of things. Like, hey, Mr. Customer, there's no chance of us rebranding in the next, 5 years. There's no chance of us exchanging ownership. We're here to own our projects. How important is this to you? As far as on a competition level, yeah, I mean, putting more into the value of the service that we can provide the client, more consistent communication and follow up, overall a better service to that client. And I'm local, right? I'm not set up in 10 different states. I'm your guy. I'm your local and reputable contractor. You can come see me at the local Texas Roadhouse on a Saturday. I'll say hi to you.
I feel like regionally there's different flavors of this where people will be more or less scared of outsiders, right? Like appreciate local or family owned or whatever, right? So kind of for the audience, it's a little bit of gauging what that flavor is for your area. How do people resonate with the local business and how to push into that, how to find what they do care about related to this and attach yourself to those ideas. I think local differences, there's
Yeah,
differences in
I
different
see what
parts of
you're
the country.
saying.
Like
Yeah,
some people don't care as much about local, some people do, right? So there's like an element of like, I think in our market that looks a little different than, and it's like, you also don't want to be that company that's like posting in the Facebook groups, like, watch out for these private equity. You don't want to be like a whiner.
and at the end of the day, you're gonna have to compete with it. Like, I mean, there's no
Yeah.
stopping it. You're not
Yeah.
gonna stop it.
Yeah.
And you're right, there is a local touch, I believe, because we have outside of Roanoke little communities like Fincastle and stuff. And it's so funny. You don't see a Walmart in Fincastle. You're not going to see that. You see the local market, and I'm telling you, you can drive by that local market in Fincastle any day of the week, and it is full. I mean, full of cars. And yeah, you're going to pay a little more for your sandwich at the deli, and yeah, you're going to pay more for the cheese, but it's that local touch. You can't let that go away. I mean, that's culture.
Talk to me about any other like things that you feel like allow you guys to compete at a higher level with something like this. And should, like, let's say somebody's in their 100,000 person market and they're just CMP coming in right now. Do you have any encouragement for them to get
Yeah, I
through it?
mean, it's my motto has always been, it's one, yes, it's lonely at the top, right? When you make it to the top, it's lonely. When you set new values and you put you up at the top of the totem pole, it's lonely. But at any point, you can come down. But if you start at the bottom, it's not always easy to climb up. You can be the cheapest guy when you start out. It might get you for a year or two. That's great. You might knock out 100 roofs. Great. But when it comes time to raise your prices and raise your values, if you are known as that cheap contractor, you're not coming up. You're going to lose clientele. But if you start off early with the mindset of, hey, we're going to put down a quality number of systems, right? We're not going to chase the volume. We're going to chase the quality over quantity. And you're at the top, and you're known as, hey, you're going to pay a little extra to deal with, for instance, Big Lick Roofing, if you want to throw out names, but you're going to get better service. You're going to get a better job. You're not going to have to call them back in 6 months to fix this. They're not going to use the cheap pipe boots. It's one and done. Whereas with the other guy, you might save $1,000, but guess what? When your pipe boots rot in 2 years, well, you're going to have those replaced. I mean, it's just little things like that, right? Workmanship warranties may only be 2 years with a cheap guy. We're offering as far up to 30 years. Actually, we're working on a lifetime workmanship right now. So there's little things that you can do as a quality contractor and values that you can offer once you're up there. But it is very difficult to start down here and then say, well, I'll get there one day. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's also like, what can you offer in the price besides just the basic roof, right? What can you offer within that price? And if you put it up a little higher, I hate to say it, but I like kind of price high and justify. I mean, if you put it up there, you can offer the different components. Like the pipe boot doesn't feel as expensive, right? So it's like, you kind of is what I'm hearing from you is almost like if you're starting out, start a little higher than you think so that you can offer a few things that you didn't realize that you're going to need to anyways.
It's one of those things like, no, I don't want to be your most expensive guy. I'm not here to gag nobody. But at the end of the day, I do want to provide a quality service and I want to be able to pay my people well and take care of my people as well because we want to be here for the long game, right? If I have the mindset of I'm going to come in with the cheapest roof and earn your business on price, well, chances are I may not be around in a few years to take care of you if my business is solely ran on the cheap model. So I'm with you 100%. There's a lot of things that a quality contractor can do in the long term that your lesser expensive guys cannot.
Yeah, be around for the warranties, I guess.
Done plenty of those.
Yeah, I mean, okay. A few more tips for the new guy. I like the tips for the new guy section here. Anything you would have done different if you would have started over? Let's say it was 2025, 2026, and you're starting a roofing company. What would have you done differently?
Yeah, so my dad always told me you got to be young and dumb to be old and wise. And it holds true. I started my company as soon as I was at the legal age of 21 to get a contractor's license. That's when I started my business. The day that I turned 21, I started studying, and 2 months later, I got my license. And next thing you know, in June of 2019, we was established. But there was a lot of things in the first couple of years that I wish that I, for instance, didn't do that at a later date I found out that could have been done better. And I think that's going to be a trend that carries for the life of my business. And as me,
Are there any that you're willing to share generously with
oh
our
yeah,
audience?
I'm going to.
Okay,
So
okay.
let's go into it. So first and foremost, I thought as a young contractor, spending the big money on being seen, like for instance, all the big TV commercials, getting all the local billboards, just trying to brand was the way to go. And turns out, I wish I saved all that money and put it towards yard sign and proximity marketing. That would have been huge for us in the early days because yes, if you're going to brand, you need to be seen at every stop sign, in my opinion. A new company with no reviews does not need to be seen on TV. You're not going to get any callbacks from that because they're going to go straight to Google and look at you, right? And you're in the Google business. You should know this.
Yeah.
You've helped us out
Yeah.
a lot. So that's one thing. Put the money in the proximity, do the yard signs, door to door, door hangers. That's where the money needs to go in 2025, 2026. As you establish and as you grow and as you get consistency, start allocating the money to like SEO, hook agency, the best in the business.
Thank you, brother.
That's right. It is. It's proven. Start allocating money towards that. That really helps because once you get established and you start getting a reputation, you need your customers to speak for you. They also need to be able to, future customers need to be able to see that. And Hook Agency is great at doing that. 100%. Helping you be seen at the top. That's what you need. But early on, that was my biggest mistakes. I didn't allocate money for the proper marketing. I put it all in the wrong places. I never got a return off of it. I struggled through the winters. So, now knowing what I know now, 100% would have done those two things far different.
Automate your communication with ProLine, the only communication-first CRM for roofers. Because when you fix your communication, you'll sell more jobs.
We had 200% growth, and I attribute that to ProLine.
But just with one automation, I was able to get 25 Google reviews.
ProLine's not going to win the beauty pageant, but it will save your Saturday.
I love it, man. I'm convinced. I'm convinced that I should use Hook Agency if I ever need to. Also, what else would you say is like super high return stuff? Like I'm always thinking about what else, right? What else? And I do believe that like no one should take responsibility and put it on some outside vendor, right? Like I believe you should take responsibility. You're the type of person who you've had a great experience partly because you take so much responsibility, right? You take responsibility for other types of marketing that you're doing. I think about yard signs. I think about job site branding. I think about good. Do you have decent truck wraps and stuff?
Yeah, I tend to maybe overspend on truck wraps. I don't
Okay,
let
that
my
sounds
truck wraps
fun, though.
go
I like
more than
that.
a year. Like I'm changing truck wraps every year. I
Yeah.
want the next best looking thing.
Yeah. But like
Wrap
anything
Guy
else
loves
that
Dakota.
that you think is like proximity marketing that's really powerful. Any other places you spend?
Yeah, so early on, I still have the truck. It's in my driveway right now. I had this little red Colorado that I bought with my life savings to start my business. And I had a few $100 left over after I bought it. And I went and stickered it up. I mean, it wasn't sexy, but it worked. And I drove it every day. I didn't care where I was going. It was a billboard, a rolling billboard. Now, Big Lick Roofing is known for its Sasquatch and its crazy out of this world truck wraps. We've got purple truck wraps with lightning bolts all down the side of it. I mean, you can't miss it. It's almost an eyesore, but it grabs your attention. But that kind of takes me back 2 steps to what you asked earlier. You was like, is there anything you would have done different early on? And I think if I would have known what I know now, I probably would have changed my whole business model. Personally, I think I would have chased after the roof repairs. When I first went in business, I didn't want the small jobs. I wanted the big jobs. And come to find out nowadays, based off of my data, we turn over more roof repairs into replacements than we do, roof replacement leads in general.
Wow.
Because once you service the roof repair client, they're your client. When you save Miss Jones from the rainstorm and her bathroom leaking for a few $100, she's calling you here a few months later for that new roof. I guarantee it.
Any other like local proximity things you want to mention? And then I want to ask about like less sexy stuff than marketing here in a second, but
Sure.
what's
one idea that I'm actually in the works with, and I think if someone else takes this idea and it works great in their market, comment thumbs up, tell Tim Dakota's a smart guy. I don't know if other markets have local pizza joints like my market does. I mean, everywhere you look, you can get a slice of pizza on a corner. And I have thought about going to these pizza places because they got hundreds of pizza boxes, putting a QR code on the pizza boxes.
Heck
and
yeah.
the code goes to, for instance, Roofle. We have Roof Quote Pro on our website. Get your free estimate now. And you give the pizza place, I don't know, $1 or something for every sticker you can put on their pizza box. Who wouldn't do it? Getting creative with the marketing early on, I think, is going to be key to separating you from the competition, especially as a new business. You've got to be different and you've got to do different things. And that's one thing that we are actually working on is, hey, why don't we put our brand in places that nobody else would think of?
I wanted to ask about other things that were less sexy than marketing. So and then we'll get to sales. So don't stop listening just because I asked less sexy questions. You're talking about the warranties thing. Servicing previous jobs that were done. Did you find any issues in your super early roofs that you had to go back and fix and then changed your process going forward? Is there anything that you early on were making the mistake and then you had to not make that mistake anymore, whether it was a product or a way you installed?
Oh yeah. Luckily it wasn't a lot, but again, starting off, as a young roofer, a young contractor, I was there to get business. So I was figuring out ways to put down lesser expensive products. Am I proud of it? Absolutely not. And a lot of those lesser expensive products failed. I mean, early on, and we owned it.
Just throw out some names. Just throw out some names of products.
Yeah. Your good old fashioned, what are they? Odie plastic pipe boots.
Okay.
Yeah. Not good.
Yeah.
Tamko shingles.
Okay, all right. This is getting real right now. This is getting real. Supposedly, there's better Tamkos now, right? Is there there's a new the newer version is supposedly up to snuff? Supposedly.
All right, so I'll be honest, straight up. In our warehouse right now, I've got a couple pallets of Icos and Tamkos and Owens Cornings, just just from patch jobs here and there. And I did recently pick up a brand new bundle of the new Titans because I was putting together a display to take in.
Tell me about how those are.
So, I'm not a fan. I mean, honestly, not a fan.
Okay.
It was actually coming unlaminated in the package when I took it out.
They're thicker though, right? They're thicker.
They are a little thicker, yeah. But in my market, we don't get hail. I mean, if we get hail, it's all of us are out of the bed at 5 a.m. gonna knocking on doors. Like we don't hardly ever get hail. So class 4 shingles in my market really aren't an upsell. But what do you?
Okay, no, I like this conversation.
Yeah.
This is actually a treat. This is a bigger treat than I realized. But ICO, what do you think? Because like a lot of people will use that as their cheaper shingle if like they're doing GAF or Owens Corning or something at the higher end.
Yeah, I mean, we are a GAF. I mean, we're loyal to GAF. I mean, and it's not because, and I tell my rep this all the time. I know GF's got a great product. Now, of course, every roofer in the world is going to be a keyboard warrior. It's trash and yada yada yada. But at the
Comment
end of the
below
day,
if you disagree. Comment below.
yeah, comment. I hear you, but I get the service right from my reps, and I think reps go a long ways in markets. Right? I think whoever gives you the best service as a rep is who you're going to partner with to succeed with your company.
But so you don't have a cheaper shingle that you'll.
I go full blown GAF. I don't offer, my good, better, best is we're going to lead with a GAF shingle because that's what I'm, pretty much married to and I love it. But we change the accessories in and out to gauge the price. But, going back to ICO, there are a lot of ICOs and Atlases in our market. And here recently, a bunch of Tamkos, one of the biggest, probably one of our biggest competitors in our market swapped from Owens Corning to Tamko. I mean, they lead with Tamko now. 100%. Now, what kind of kickbacks they're getting, I don't know if that has something to do with it.
Hey, we're all getting.
I said it, buy the business, buying the business. But if the business is good, if the product's good, you shouldn't have to be incentivized to buy it, and that's the way I look.
But I mean, like everybody incentivizes, right? Like GAF is pretty hardcore on that usually, right?
It is. But our kickback really isn't like life changing. It's minute compared to what it could be, right? But
this is a fun conversation.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was a point where we won't drop the name, but another shingle manufacturer was like, "Hey, we'll give you like $10 a square back." That's cool and all, but are you going to be around to take care of me when I need you?
Yeah, that feels like the biggest thing, right? And it's like it doesn't. What's interesting is it will be different in different markets. You know what I mean? Like Owens Corning over here has got really good reps. Certainty over there, and GAF in a lot of places, right? They have good. Like it kind of matters your local. What is it? Territory manager, essentially.
Yeah, your TM has a lot to do with it. But it's like I say at the end of the day, it's like I even tell my clients, I'm not here to badmouth a product by any means, because at the end of the day, a shingle is a shingle, and as long as it's paired with the right components and it's protected by a systems warranty, what kind of sleep are you going to lose at night? At the end of the day, it's going to be my preference as to what I put down and what I want to stand behind. But there's plenty of other contractors that are going to offer you Owens Corning, Tamko, ICO, Atlas. As long as it's a system, what are you losing? I mean, really, what are you losing? I know each manufacturer has different guidelines for workmanship, and different extensions for their products and components. But if you've got a good, better, best in front of you, 3 different contractors, and one's offering Atlas, Owens Corning, GAF, and they're all offering you a system, and $500 is separating the 3. I mean, I'm not a gambler, but I mean,
who needs their granules in 10 years? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, I hear you.
Well, it's hard to care about. It's hard to care about 10 years from now for anyone, right? Like, it's like there's like, I'm not going to say brand name either, but in our market, they weren't. I think that they were worse 10 years ago. A particular, I don't want to say.
It's hard not to say it, but we all know where you're going.
A certain manufacturer in our area had issues that there's a lot of granule loss. A certain one, and I'm not going to say which one. That one certainly may have upgraded since then, right? Like I think that's the thing that's hard. It's easy to like rip on somebody, but it's like from what I hear in different areas, there's the quality issues at a manufacturer because there's different manufacturing plants around the country, and there will be one that has issues for a while, and supposedly that one's like fixed all that in our area. But it's like that's another thing to think about, like changes in the product line, and I'm not going to go into GAF, but like there has been changes in the product line in the past that have like made things thinner
Yes.
in
And
some
even though
cases.
I wear the badge proud on
Yeah,
my
yeah,
shirt, I
yeah,
will be the first to tell you, we've had issues with the product too. But we're
yeah.
not the ones that say, "Oh, it's a crappy product because of 3 or 4 bad experiences." They take care of the client. I mean, seriously, that's the biggest thing with us is if regardless of what we put down, as long as our client's getting serviced and taken care of and we're going to bat for them, we're good. I mean, seriously, it's good business.
That's
Um,
good. That's good. And then that matters the most if you're going to stay in business, right? Like
you
if you're
have to.
not if you're not
Yes.
like sprinting to the lowest common price or whatever. I want to transition into sales conversation because all this relates a little bit to sales. Is like a lot of times when you hear super negative things about, and I'm really not trying to bash anybody. I think a lot of times when you hear super negative things about a particular manufacturer, you have to take into consideration the source. We're often competing as a roofing contractor with people selling that shingle and they want to talk smack. We want to talk smack, right? The Owens Corning guy might talk smack about the GF guy. The GF guy might vice versa, right? So there's a little bit back and forth to recognize in the sales process. How do you not get pulled into like tit for tat uh, insults match if like people are, like with other companies using maybe say, like have you ever had that where they've like said negative things as a person who's created a name for himself in the market and they're going up against you on a bid? Have you ever had people talk smack? How do you deal with that type of thing when people are being super competitive like that?
And we still deal with it probably once every other week. I mean, especially your new guys, Hank at the Tanks, trying. And I get it; everybody has to make a living, right? But bad mouthing a product, a company doesn't get you anywhere. It just makes you look worse in front of that person. Now, what I like to say is, when we finally get it out, hey, wait, who are we going up against? Let's be real. Who are we going up against? And they'll say the names. I bet. Well, listen, I've been going up against them for 5 years. So here's what I know is the differences between me, them, and the other person. Of those, what means the most to you? Is it your service? Is it the price? Is it the quality of the product? Because at the end of the day, I'm a roofer. They're a roofer. We can adjust the dials to whatever your liking is. If you're looking to achieve a cheap price because you're selling the home next year, I'm not going to be happy about putting down a cheap system for you. But as long as you understand the warranty and the quality of the product, we'll shake a hand and I'm good with it. But how do you combat the guy or the customer that says, well, hey, you know, John Luke from ABC Company said that, you use crappy products and you use Amigos to roof your homes and they don't know anything and, yada, yada, yada. I'm sitting here thinking, have you read our Google reviews lately? That's one thing. But have you read our reviews? Well, yeah. And I said, did you read anything bad? Well, I mean, I read an occasional, something, but you could tell it was just somebody trying to bite their tongue. Well, sure. Okay, great. So reading those reviews, do you have any concern doing business with me? And they're like, well, I called you. I'm like, exactly. So you trust me, right? 100%. So then what's the problem? Are you going to go off of John Luke's word of mouth or do you want to back that up with our reviews? And a lot of times that's how we handle it. And we are in the business, right? But you're right. There are so many strategies, I would say, to combat bad mouthing products. Like, for instance, the most common thing we get in our market for products, we talked about bad mouthing a company. Let's give an example of bad mouthing a product. We hear all the time, Owens Corning is our biggest competitor. And we'll say, well, they got the SureNail system. That's all we hear. Oh, they have a SureNail system. Okay, great. And what does the SureNail system do? They're like, oh, it helps them target where the nails go and, it's reinforced. Great. That's awesome. Well, if the shingle never lifts, are you ever going to have to worry about a nail pulling through? And they're like, Like, what? I'm like, well, a GAF shingle, it has an ungranulated strike zone. That means the tar on the back of the shingle is going to adhere better to that ungranulated surface than it is to a piece of nylon tape. So therefore, my shingle's not going to lift, and we don't have to worry about fastener pull through. And all of a sudden, the customers are like, well, they didn't tell me that. Well, of course not. But we're not bad-mouthing No One's Corny by any means. We're just saying, hey, here's the technology and here's how it works. Just like, Tamko. They just love that video of the pull-through test. I mean, it's all you see. But let's be real. What scenario are you going to put yourself in? Or is your home going to be in, I should say, to see that type of resistance or force on a shingle that is sealed. Like, why don't we seal the shingle, like seal it down like it's should be sealed, and then do the test? Are you going to be able to get that shingle up on a Tamko? Probably. But if we're putting it on a GAF, are you going to be able to unseal that shingle and then do that ridiculous test? Probably not.
One last topic here. What CRM do you use?
Um, so John Delorier, you go back and watch our podcast a few weeks ago. I'll say it and I'll say it again. I should have an award for being the roofer that's used every CRM in the book. I'm now on ProLine, and I love ProLine. I got away from AccuLinks, and I'm tickled with ProLine. I mean, I really am. ProLine's awesome.
Yeah, what do you like about it? Because there's so many options in the market. Like AccuLinks is a little prettier, if I'm honest. And Job Nimbus has a lot of people in it, like a lot of smart people. I think about I can think of 5 brilliant roofers that are on Job Nimbus, and they do a really good job of marketing and stuff like that. So I'm like, why ProLine over these other options, I guess?
Yeah, and again, this could go back to the topic of, hey, what would you do if, you started all over? But I started off, again, with Job. It was called Job Progress, then it became Leap, then we used Sumo Quote. Anyways, getting to the nitty gritty, we swapped to AccuLinks a couple years ago because of the value that it brought to us. It does production. I mean, all this in one bundle, right? I don't have to use an estimation software and then integrate it with my CRM. It was like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, it's more expensive, but I see the value. Well, you got a larger sales team, and then you start wanting to add this and add that. You're talking about a CRM that costs you $5,000-$6,000 a month. And at first, you're sitting there thinking, well, I'm a quality-driven company. I like value. Let's go for it. We'll just keep doing it. But you're never really getting a return out of it. So I dropped it because ProLine had all this value for essentially a fraction of the price. And the service you get from ProLine versus AccuLinks is, oh my gosh. I mean, you can't touch it. Here's why. AccuStinks has this 24/7, support, but you're going to talk to somebody across the ocean probably. It's a third party call center. It's not an actual person from AccuLinks. You call somebody at ProLine with a problem, you ain't hanging up that phone until it's fixed. I promise you. But I was a legacy user with what they called Powerline. So I was on board with that crew before it became ProLine. So we was using the automation and the sales follow-up with Powerline. Loved it. The only reason we got rid of it in the beginning was because we kind of lost value in it. We just didn't see it really working for us because it was still getting fine-tuned. And then here we are a few years later, we're back. And that stuff has taken it is insane now. I mean, it'll close a job at 11 o'clock at night. I'll be in the bed and my phone will ding. Miss Jones signed her proposal, took the deposit. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Is that so you can take payments through there too?
Oh yeah. It'll send, as soon as you sign a contract, it sends the deposit invoice immediately.
That's amazing. That's super cool. What is the processing done through, like the payment processing done through?
I'm not sure what the...
Okay, they have their own built-in thing. Yeah.
But it's
like, is it high merchant fees? Is what I'm really getting at?
So the cool thing that I like about it is if there is, for instance, a credit card fee involved, you can select to pass that fee to the client, and it lets the client know, hey, if you pay with a credit card, it's going to cost you this much more. We love it. Whereas when we was using AccuLinks, we had to use a third party integration to make it work. Sometimes it never talked to QuickBooks. It just all over the place.
Last question. I'm sorry, I got to get out of here after this, but about ProLine. I do think it's an interesting topic. The closing while you're in bed, is that because just the automatic follow-up?
Yes. So the campaigns that are set up, once you quote a job and you move it to the appropriate bucket inside of ProLine, it'll trigger campaigns to send text messages to clients. Hey, just checking in. How's your roof? Are you ready to get on the schedule? And before you know it, AI is doing all the work. It could be 3 days after your appointment. It'd be 11 o'clock at night. Miss Jones is finally, let's just go with it. Click of a button on her phone and she's signed up with you. It's awesome.
That's awesome, man. Is a lot of that easy to set up? Or is it like
set up
yeah.
out of the box?
Really?
I mean, when you sign up with ProLine, it's out of the box, ready to work for you. Now, me being me, I like to fine tune a lot of things and make my adjustments, and it's not hard to learn how to do that. And I spend a lot of time doing it. However, but out of the box for your average guy, it'll start selling jobs for you out of the box, no question.
Sounds good, man. I'm convinced on that one too. Give me a ProLine subscription here. Where can people go to check you out?
Well, I'm no longer on Tinder or Bumble. I'm off the market. However, you can find me on Facebook, Big Lick Roofing. We also have a TikTok, Big Lick Roofing as well. Or, find me out in Roanoke somewhere. You can't miss our truck wraps. We'll bump into each other.
All right, man. I love it. I appreciate you being on the show. And thank you for being a client. And thank you for adding value to the folks watching.
But thank you for being you, man.
Yes, sir. Podcast is put on by hookagency.com. Hook Agency all over social media. See you guys later.
Once you get to know us, there's no reason to buy from anybody else. What we do differently is we do stake in the factory. You're truly buying direct. We don't sell to distribution. We sell to roofers, the people that have been getting hurt for years. You keep getting price increases from suppliers. We do price decreases. We've had about 4 price decreases this year. VanBoxwellBuilding.com. We have a new website, the Amazon type platform. You go right on there, click it, put it in your cart. We can send it to you, or feel free to give us a call. We'll answer any questions for you.
They're so thorough with every detail of the website. Working with Hook, the design is probably 50x better than any other design I've ever had. Their team is super communicative, and I mean this genuinely. I'm happy to pay you guys to work with us. It's been a tremendous experience.